Park Beach Soccer Facility in Nassau, Bahamas, with the United States taking on Panama in Group B. Happy to have you along for this one. Should be very intense between these two nations. Joe Malfa with you for the action. 77 degrees, slight breeze, slight chance of rain here in the Bahamas as we get into the evening's action in Group B. And I mentioned the intensity should be high because of the results that we've seen already. Yesterday, a win for Panama over Trinidad and Tobago. It lost for the U.S. against the host Bahamas, which sets the stage for a dramatic conclusion today. Panama cannot be eliminated no matter what happens in this game. The United States, the reigning champions, would be out with a loss or if this game goes to a shootout. So all of that hangs in the balance, especially after earlier today we saw the number 2 ranked team and the reigning runners-up from 2023 Mexico go out early. Will the number 1 ranked team and the reigning champions, the U.S., meet that same fate? Panama hopes so. Panama would like revenge. The last 2 editions of this tournament, the U.S. got the better of Panama in group play in 2023 and in the quarterfinal in 2021. The teams are just about set to take the tunnel and take the field. We'll have anthems, lineups, and kick in just a moment. Last day of group play, all on the line between the United States and Panama. Already sense the passion dripping from the anthems for both the United States and Panama. So much on the line here in this one. Again, Panama cannot be eliminated by this result alone, but a loss here coupled with the Bahamas Trinidad and Tobago matchup coming up later could still put Panama out, even though they currently sit at the top of Group B. We'll keep you abreast of those scenarios as the match goes along. On the flip side, again, the United States with a loss, or if the match goes to a shootout, would be eliminated. At that point, it wouldn't matter what they do in the shootout. Just the fact that it gets there would already eliminate the United States. So many scenarios to get through as we go through this game, and it's made possible because of the fact that we've had a couple of shootouts here in this group. So it's not your typical point math, if you will, at this point of a group stage where somebody maybe has 6 or 4 or 3. It's very different from what you would expect because of those couple of shootouts that we've had, and it sets up a very interesting day. And this is the starting lineup for the United States. It's Christopher Toth in goal. Alessandro Canale is your leading man. He has a goal already in this tournament. He has 27 goals. It's good enough for 7th all-time in Concacaf Beach Soccer Championship history. See if they can rely on him to come up big. Also on the bench, Cody Valcarcel has 2 goals so far in this tournament. On the other side for Panama, coming in as the 4th-ranked team here in CONCACAF, one-time champions back in 2017. They're looking for just their 3rd ever trip to a semifinal. They made it again back in 2019. Captain out there for the coin toss, Alfonso Mackenzie, along with Christopher Toth of the United States. The officiating crew led by Mario Nava of Mexico. Panama were able to beat the hosts, the Bahamas, in the opener in a shootout, and then a 5-3 victory over Trinidad and Tobago. The United States, on the other hand, had a shootout win over Trinidad and Tobago and then a loss in regulation yesterday against the Bahamas, a match that was 1-1 at the end of 2 periods. Bahamas here in front of their home crowd took it in the 3rd. And here is the lineup for Panama. All eyes for this Panamanian side on Alfonso Mackenzie. He is 11th all-time in this competition's history with 22 goals. 4 of those have come in this year's tournament. He had a hat trick last game. Alfonso Mackenzie, and one of the hybrid players, if you will, for Panama. He's also the star of their futsal team as well. So doing it on the hard court for futsal and doing it on the sand here in beach soccer. Alfonso Mackenzie, their leading man through and through. Already seen 2 teams punch a ticket to the semifinal, El Salvador and Guatemala, with Mexico and Costa Rica eliminated from Group A. All that's left to be decided, which 2 teams make it out of Group B. Panama enters the day in 1st, the U.S. enters the day below the line in 3rd. This is the pivotal matchup. Could clinch a spot for Panama, could eliminate the U.S., could clinch a spot for the U.S., and put Panama in peril. We'll find out together over the next 30 minutes. We're underway, and an early corner for the U.S. U.S. would love to capitalize early here. Silvera sets it up. The header right into the hands of Londoño. Happy to bring in the audience here for this wonderful sport. Concacaf Beach Soccer Championship here in 2025. Those of you who may still be on the newer side have 3 periods, 12 minutes each. Clock will stop on injuries, on dead balls, on goals, all the sort. Referee kicks are open-ended, no wall allowed. And basically every foul leads to a goal-scoring opportunity, possibly. Goalkeepers have 4 seconds to get rid of the ball. Just some of the basics for you. Anything more complex comes up, we'll take you through it as it arises. Those of you who are the ardent beach soccer fans, welcome back. Toth. The goal again. Toth flares it out for Nicolas Perea. From the bench to have it, Toth. Have it, Toth. They want the goalkeeper to have a go. Set it up to Perea. Now it's Canale. Trying to spin his way through. All the way back to the keeper once again. Sustained possession here from the U.S. in the first couple of moments. Crossfield pass finds Silvera. It hits in the sand. Completely changed direction. Seemed like it was going well wide, and then fortunate for Jaime Londoño, and it just popped up over the goal. Directionally, and it steered back on goal. Try from distance here for Panama. Almost caught Toth napping. He was upset that nobody closed down to Alfonso McKenzie. They should know better. 4 goals already in this tournament. Again, a hat-trick yesterday. Toth. Silvera knocks it inside. We'll recycle again the U.S. through Silvera. Canale is possessed by McKenzie. Ball did stay in. Cleared through the middle. Panama looking to find something out of it for the first time. Setting up in the attacking half, it's Eliezer Garcia, who has 2 goals of his own in this tournament. Garcia powering through. Garcia still with it on his right foot. Finally played across. Open opportunity here for Panama Brewing, but it's a mistouch. Luis Quintero tries the overhead off target. That first moment where it came through for Quintero, a better touch, and he would have had a free shot at goal. Just skipped up on him, scampered out wide, trying to recover all he could with the overhead. Tough angle, tough distance for that. From distance again here for Panama. Nothing going on early for them offensively. At the back, Londoño. It'll be interesting to see how Panama handles this game. Will they sit back and just try to defend? That will invite so much pressure, though, from the United States. At the end of the day, all Panama needs to do is get this to a shootout. They can manage to get this to a shootout. If not, of course, win in regulation, but just simply getting it to a shootout, they would clinch a spot and the U.S. would be eliminated. Wrestled away by Garcia. U.S. holding strong defensively. Time Panama looked on the brink of breaking out early. First batch of subs, that was Antonio Chavez, who just played it back now and receives again from Toth. Here's Chavez. Chavez. A lot of contact there. The U.S. wanted a penalty. See that yellow flag on the far side. That indicates the penalty area. Instead, it's a foul against the U.S. now. Tracking back defensively for Cody Valcarcel. direct free kick goes to Panama. Rafael Garcia, who has fouled and sets it up. Coming from the light into the shadow. Could be difficult for the keeper to read. Rafael Garcia, he makes a mess of it. He is a lighter ball, does tend to balloon literally on players like that if you get under it at all. On a windy day like this as well, 12-mile-an-hour winds. See moments like that where it ends up well off target. Chavez back to Toth, picks it up, throws it to the far side. Tanner Acole. Nice movement this from the United States. Panama holds strong. McKenzie flicks it on. Garcia lines it up and saved by Toth. Now opening up a bit at the halfway mark of this first period. Throw out to Acole. The foot put in defensively by Panama. It's Garcia there. Pardon me, it's Jose Escobar now defending. Throw from Londoño. Dealt with by the U.S. Three changes being ready for the U.S. Subs happen on the fly here in beach soccer. Londoño gave it away. Quick shot on goal, and it's in! Mistake for Panama. The U.S. capitalizes. Ricardo Carvalho gives them the lead. Just a mistake from Londoño. Get a second look at this. Try and see what he might have even been looking at and thinking. Or did he just mishit it? Yeah, he just mishit it. He might have been able to get it out wide to McKenzie. Even so, it would have been a tough one to thread. And he just got it all wrong. Was well out of his goal frame then. Carvalho made no mistake. Ian Carey, the head coach, looks on. The U.S. leads 1-0. Quick off the kickoff. It's off target. Did take a deflection. Corner for Panama. We'll update you on what that goal means momentarily. First, a chance here for Panama. From the corner, U.S. deals with it. Picked back up by Ramos. Tries the overhead Ramos. So with that goal, the U.S. puts themselves one more goal away from being in a position to clinch a spot right here, right now. The U.S. came into this one with 1 point. Panama with 4. The goal differential right now has Panama at +1 and the U.S. at even. If the U.S. ends this game with a victory and a superior goal differential to Panama, it would be the U.S. in first, Panama in second, and the Bahamas in third. So the Bahamas would still be able to, in the game coming up against Trinidad and Tobago, qualify, but it would be at the expense of Panama, not the U.S. As Toth looks for a goal of his own, and it's saved by Londoño. So this puts Panama in a more precarious situation now, after they came into this one in the driver's seat. A 2-goal win or more for the U.S. would mean that they clinch here and now. Panama would not be eliminated, but they could be ousted at the expense of the Bahamas later on. And based on what we've seen so far in this tournament, the expectation would be that the Bahamas take care of Trinidad and Tobago. You never know. We've seen some upsets. Look out, that one stayed in play. The wind knocked it down, hit the crossbar. We've seen some upsets in this tournament. No reason why Trinidad and Tobago can't pull another one against the Bahamas. But if things go to form, you expect the Bahamas to win later, which is why this game is so important for the U.S. and Panama. You don't want to be the team that the Bahamas can knock out, is the best way to put it. And a 2-goal or more win for the U.S. would make Panama that team. If it stays like this, if it's just a 1-goal win for the U.S., then Panama would still clinch a spot through, and then it would come down to the Bahamas being able to knock out the U.S. later on. So the margin of victory just as important as the result itself. Here's McKenzie. Great battle going on here along the sideline between the two number 10s. Silvera forcing McKenzie all the way back to Londoño. Londoño goes for a goal, saved by Toth. Toth throws it long, 3-on-1. U.S. looking for something here, and Silveira has options, feeds it near side to Navas, denied. Back to Silveira. Overhead from Silveira, off target. Corner for the U.S. Flipped in, the overhead. Blocked again on the effort by Canale. From a seated position almost. Opportunity there for Panama. Now put wide by Quintero. It was Rafael Del Rosario who did well to even keep that alive on a seated position. Great action here back and forth in this first period. All to play for here on the final match day of group play. And from distance here for the U.S., took a deflection on the way through. Londoño has it. 2 minutes to go in the first. Good pressure from the U.S. Digging through it, Rafael Garcia. Now Alfonso Mackenzie. Chips through, flicked on, handled by Toth. Toth. Right to Chavez. Good contact there. Leon said the officials. Long throw from Londoño. Looking out ahead for Garcia. 2 goals in this tournament. Garcia lunging in, loses it, coming away with it. Chavez for the U.S. He's clipped from behind. Still no call. Play on. Garcia muscling through. He loses it. And now a whistle. Free kick for the U.S. And a call brought down. Distance and angle on this direct free kick. A bit askew to the U.S.'s left, to the keeper's right. Helps Londoño cut off some of the angle here. Difficult from this distance. See what Cole can muster up as he tries to go on the ground and hope for a favorable bounce off the sand. Cole approaches, does go low, it does hop up, rebound loose in front and put away. Carvalho for the second time, netting one for the U.S., who lead by 2. And that's a perfect illustration of why you can never know on a free kick what may happen. And no matter how far away you may be, you just go for it. You get a bounce like that, it's tough for the keeper to handle. You have alert players around you, reading it, waiting for the rebound. Panama a bit too slow to react. Carvalho, 2 finishes today that you might chalk up into the easy category in terms of the finish itself. The first one on the giveaway by Londoño, the keeper, and that one on the rebound. But it's all about positioning, all about that effort and that side of things between the ears. Look out here. Londoño got a touch to it, or not. Just did go over the bar. Rezende. 2 goals for the U.S. bred out of mentality more so than skill. Being in the right spot, hustling to it, and converting, cashing in when the moment was there. Panama now in a precarious position. I was mentioning a few moments ago, a win for the U.S. by 2 goals or more would clinch a spot for the U.S. Bahamas could still clinch a spot later, but it would come at the expense of Panama instead of at the expense of the U.S. So no matter what, Panama cannot be eliminated here and now in this game. But they could be in a tough position as the Bahamas host Trinidad and Tobago later on. The horn sounds, period 1 ends. It's the U.S. up 2-0 over Panama. Here right off the kickoff for Panama to take one back. The U.S. has done a good job of blocking the opportunities on the kickoffs here for Panama. Mackenzie very eager and aggressive in these moments as he waits for the chip up from Luis Quintero. There's a ready for play. Mackenzie, he passes it off this time. There's a whistle. I think they went early. The horn sounded, but the whistle never blew. So they will redo this. They did tip their hand, though, what they intended, playing it off to the right. You wonder if they go for the same thing or if now they scrap it and Mackenzie just goes for goal. Mackenzie will just go for goal now, but it's off target. Salvador, Guatemala already through to the semifinal. Will the U.S. or Panama meet them? Will the Bahamas meet them? They're still alive as well and play later. El Salvador won that group. Guatemala came in second. So the winner of this group gets Guatemala, and the runner-up of this group gets El Salvador. El Salvador have looked like the class of this tournament so far. Chance here for Panama. Fed in front, just out of the reach of a sliding Rodney Ramos. Might have even gotten a slight touch to it, but not enough to redirect it on goal. Back the other way for the U.S. Glanced along by Canale. contact there. Panama wants a foul call. Farid disagreed. Canale lost it. Did stay in. Here's Ramos for Panama. Ramos dodging. Ramos goes for goal, puts it wide. Well read by Toth that it was going wide of his near post. Here's Ramos. Dug out by the U.S. It's back for Toth. Canale. And he commits the foul unnecessarily. The U.S. has already capitalized on a set piece. And Panama now.
No sympathetic.
Will Toth be tested? Ahmed Ramos puts it wide. I asked the question, will he be tested, Toth? Because a couple of times where Panama's had a chance like that, be it from a distance free kick or from the kickoff, they've all been off target so far. As that one is for the U.S. now. From Akol. Very physical here. Players down on the sand. Ushered out by Panama. Quick throw coming for the U.S. Akol puts it back in the top.
By walking on the sand, if you want to understand just how hard it is to run and play a form of football, beat soccer.
Toth juggling along, feeds it out wide, headed centrally, intercepted by Mackenzie. Panama looking to break out, ranging over defensively. Antonio Chavez, and he wins it for the U.S. Long toss from Toth. Takes an awkward bounce. World Cup in May in Seychelles. That's the goal here. The two teams who make the final will be on their way out of Concacaf. The U.S. made it last time, eliminated in the group stage. It would be their 8th trip to the World Cup. For Panama, it would be a 2nd trip to the World Cup. They've only been in the semifinal of this tournament twice. In 2017 when they won it all, as Toth goes for goal. And they were back in 2019, lost there in the semifinal. Ended up losing the 3rd place match as well. Minutes gone here in this middle period. U.S. up 2-0. It would already be enough for them to clinch a spot in the semifinal. This scoreline takes them up to 4 points alongside Panama, who would be on 4 points. It takes the U.S.'s goal differential to +1 as Toth goes for goal, and it's off the post. This would take the U.S.'s goal differential to +1, and Panama's down to even. So it would have the U.S. over Panama and into the semifinal. For Toth. Under some pressure here, Toth almost lost it. And he's He's bailed out by a foul call against Panama. Could have been very dicey there. Already seen one goalkeeper error at this end of the field lead to a goal. It was Panama's Londoño in the first period. Led to the opening goal of the game. Official actually ends up giving the penalty here for Panama. They came in and signaled that it was against Panama and a kick coming for the U.S. Instead, it's a kick from the halfway line here for Panama to try to pull a goal back, and it's just wide. Good effort from Jose Escobar. See if that does something for Panama. Now it's given away. Save made by Londoño. Was just about to say, maybe seeing that chance on that free kick does something for Panama here in search of a goal. Instead, the U.S. wrestles control right back now from the corner. Blasted all the way through. Backvertov, difficult to handle, but he does. Alveston off target. Halfway through the period. Settled at the end line. Del Rosario. Still Del Rosario was nudged as he chipped it up for the U.S. Space here down this left side for Panama. It's McKenzie streaking ahead. Oh, he swung in and missed at the ball as he went for the shot. Now the overhead and scores. Does so well to recover. It's his 5th goal of the tournament. And it changes the dynamics of Group B once again. On the breakout, it seemed like he was going to have an open shot with his left foot. The ball hit a divot in the sand. He missed on the effort. Quickly pivots to this overhead. Upper 90. Toth can only watch it as he's rooted to the spot. 2-1 off the kickoff. The U.S. looking to get it right back. Saved by Londoño. And I mentioned it changes the dynamics of Group B once again. Hold that thought. Long toss out from Londoño. But now in a one-goal game, it would again be the United States who would get to 4 points, but they would be the ones vulnerable that could be eliminated by the Bahamas in the match to follow against Trinidad and Tobago. Panama could not be eliminated from this result alone. The U.S. could only be eliminated with a regulation loss or if the match goes to a shootout. That would guarantee it. Or I suppose if they lose in extra time as well, lump that in there. But the result wouldn't matter if it simply gets to a shootout. So there are ways the U.S. could be eliminated right here and now before the next game even comes about. Most likely scenarios that we're seeing play out here is just this teeter-totter between the goal differential for the U.S. and Panama. If they both end up on 4 points, meaning a U.S. win in regulation here, whichever team has the better goal differential would have a spot clinched in the semis. Whichever side has a worse goal differential would be at the liberty of the Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago coming up in an hour and a half time. As it stands. The U.S. a goal differential at even. Panama a goal differential of +1. Would both be on 4 points. Chance here to tie things up, saved by Toth. And he gets to the loose ball. Played along. Canale with Silveira. A lot of contact there. And it goes against Panama. Sets it up. Last free kick they had, it was the rebound. Given up by Londoño. That was pounced to by the U.S. and put home to make it 2-0. Silveira, he was going for something. Looking at the landscape literally in front of him, hoping for a favorable bounce off the sand. And it bounced the other way. Contact there. Favorable bounce though for Panama. Loose in front of the goal. Now the U.S. the other way. Flipped up over the top. Backdoor put in. Brilliant from the United States. The feed from Silveira. The finish from Andres Navas, restoring the 2-goal lead. Back to the U.S. if the scoreline holds, being clinched into the semifinals.
Scoring the United States then taking 2 goals into the lead with 2 minutes burning left on the clock for the second period.
Right off the kickoff here, Panama almost bringing it back.
Fine margin. This game hinges on fine margin.
Seen some terrific late dramatic finishes in this tournament. And to be quite honest, more so than past years. It's just a sign of the gap between the top-ranked teams in this tournament in Concacaf being closed down by the teams who are just on the outskirts or happy to be there, for lack of a better way to put it. We've seen upsets from the 6th and 7th ranked teams, and we saw Mexico, the 2nd ranked team, go home. The U.S. was on the brink of going home. They're the top ranked team in the reigning champs. This was almost unheard of in years past in this tournament. This one's setting up for a dramatic finish as well, as we're 2 minutes away from the 3rd period. U.S. hoping to expand the lead and redirect it off target.
Kitty's cooking, Lillian's brewing kitchen, and the classic chef. So lots of members out there ready to take normally the fabulous fair. Don't forget, eat the drink responsibly.
Toth throws it long. Chested down by Silveira, and here's Canale. Out wide and well off target from Navas. Panama had been threatening to tie it after they brought it back to 2-1. McKenzie has 5 goals in this tournament. Went for the pass instead. Back to McKenzie. Laid off and blocked. From distance here, with 8 seconds to go. Toth makes the save. Battered into by Rafael Garcia. And that'll take us to the end of this period. It looks like, no, they'll blow the whistle now to stop it for the injured player. The period not quite expired yet, but only 0.7 seconds remaining. Did give, oh no, pardon me, thought they were going to give a late foul call there for the U.S. Just a drop ball, and that is a anticlimactic way to end what was a dramatic second period. The United States up 3-1 on Panama, sets up a very tense third period on the way. One of these two teams could, and likely will, have a spot punched in the semifinal. Stick with us. Tobago. A win for the U.S. would also eliminate Trinidad and Tobago. It would only give the Bahamas an opportunity to advance. And if they do, it would come at the expense of Panama. But the U.S. would be through. One goal for Panama would shift that entirely. McKenzie looks for it. It's a one-goal margin of victory for the U.S. Take everything I just said and just switch the U.S. and Panama. It would still be Trinidad and Tobago out. It would still be the Bahamas with a chance to get through, but it would just be the U.S. who would be eliminated instead of Panama. That's if it goes back to a one-goal margin. "12 minutes to be played to decide it all. history of this tournament, it would be such a rarity for the United States to be ousted here and now at this point. Which again was a possibility coming into the night. A regulation loss, an extra time loss, or just going to a shootout would have eliminated the U.S. In this tournament's history, only once as it's set on goal here and put in. Another mistake by Londoño at the back, capitalizing the United States, now up by 3 through the efforts of Silveira. Oh, that's twice now that Londoño at the back has just cost Panama in nightmarish fashion. He had that giveaway in the first period. And now, what's he doing? He's come off to get the ball out wide to Rafael Garcia. Puts it in an awkward spot on his head. Didn't track back into goal. It was chipped easily, and it's 4-1 to the U.S. Just getting set to say the U.S. have only once ever failed to make the semifinal in this tournament. And it was actually in 2017 when Panama won it all. So in theory, you could have had a repeat of what we saw 8 years ago with Panama advancing through and having a chance in the U.S. The only time ever not making a semifinal in this tournament. But now it's changed even more so. They're up by 3 and a yellow card for McKenzie. Free kick coming for the U.S. Can they expand upon the lead further?
Well,
Could be the moment they need to completely bust this game open, the U.S. On the free kick, it bounces wide.
So 4 months. We've got 10 minutes left, and a lot can happen in 10 minutes. We should see the last game, El Salvador against Mexico.
Swipes at it, wide. The U.S. have a cushion now. Panama would need to score twice in order to knock the U.S. off this perch. If this scoreline holds, the U.S. goes top of the group. It would be Panama still in second, the Bahamas in third, with the Bahamas to take on Trinidad and Tobago coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, an hour and 15 minutes from now. The most significant development with this negative hit here to Panama's goal differential. Bahamas would go into, look out, chance again for the U.S. off the crossbar. Did it go beyond the line? It did. The official on the near sideline says yes. It is 5-1 United States. A hat trick for Andres Navas. From bad to worse for Panama. It seems clear now, barring a late surge, they are going to be waiting, watching, and rooting for Trinidad and Tobago over the Bahamas coming up later. And with this significant margin of victory here right now for the U.S., all the Bahamas will need to do is win, be it in regulation, extra time, or the shootout, because now the Bahamas have a goal differential that is 3 goals superior to Panama's. They're entering today in first, Panama now could be on the brink of going home. When they had a chance to eliminate the U.S. with a win of their own here. Pardon me, just some housekeeping. That's the second goal of the day for Navas, not a hat trick. Off the post here, and right back into the hands of Toth on the effort from Garcia. For the U.S., it's Navas with 2, Carvalho with 2, and Silveira with 1. 8 minutes to go in the period. Panama needs 3 goals in order to put themselves to safety again. Outright win, shootout win, an extra time win, all would have been enough for Panama to clinch a spot, as would a 1-goal loss have been. But now the U.S. piling on, up by 4.
The Bahamas will have 3 points, and Trinidad will have 0 points in this group. And the next game is the Bahamas versus Trinidad. So this group is wide open.
Now just have to hold on to this margin. See them committing a lot more numbers back behind the halfway line defensively, making life difficult for Panama. Kick on the way. Over half of this period remaining. There wasn't any contact on that initial. Was there? No contact was made. Is a handball the call, perhaps? Or is it just later push up? Pardon me, it's that later push there. Carvalho sets up the free kick. Spot for it either, and look at the shadows right in front of Jaime Londoño. Carvalho looking for his hat trick. Carvalho for a chip there. I don't think he weighted it properly. From the corner for the U.S. Loose in front. Londoño has it. Contact there. And a free kick again for the U.S. Coach Ian Carey looking on, has to be happy with what he's seen, this effort. They don't know whether they'll be going through as the first or second place team in the U.S. If I had to sit here and guess, based on what we've seen so far in this tournament, you'd expect the Bahamas to handle Trinidad and Tobago in regulation, which would mean the U.S. go through in second place, which would set up a titanic clash in the semifinals between the U.S. and El Salvador. We'll see if that's what comes to fruition. Free kick bounces wide. If it is indeed the United States and El Salvador in the semifinal, it would mean that we have an opportunity regardless to have a first-time champion in this tournament. The U.S. and El Salvador, whoever comes through, would be the favorites going into the final against either Guatemala or the Bahamas. But neither Guatemala nor the Bahamas, not only have neither ever won this tournament, neither have ever been to a final. The best either of those two nations have ever done is make a semifinal and lose. There could be some history on one side of the bracket if it is indeed a titanic clash between the U.S. and El Salvador on the other side of the knockout bracket. Which again will be decided by the end of tonight. Conventional wisdom would indicate that to be the case. Imagining the Bahamas would take care of Trinidad and Tobago in regulation, based on what we've seen so far in this tournament, will set that possibility up of the Bahamas, Guatemala on one side, El Salvador and the U.S. on the other side. Card at the end of that to Malcom. Toth will contend with a free kick. McKenzie from the free kick to start the road back for Panama. Saved by Toth. From the corner, Toth has it.
Time is on the side of the U.S.
Played over the top here, looking for Akol. Corner. Up over the top here. Navas goes down. Nice turn. Garcia gonna hold it off. The U.S. prevails defensively once again. Long toss from Londoño. Up nicely for Garcia. Toth got there first. 3 to play.
At 8 o'clock, this evening will be Bahamas versus Trinidad and Tobago. And like I mentioned, everybody is on that game as to who goes through to the semi-finals on Saturday. Winners of those 2 semi-finals will play on the final on Sunday, and they're also going to go to the World Cup Soccer Championships in Seychelles.
2 minutes remaining. The U.S. now in cruise control. The result seems to be well in hand. Four-goal margin here for the U.S. would clinch a spot for them in the semifinal. So would a 3-goal margin, so would a 2-goal margin. Panama would need to muster 3 goals in the final 2 minutes here to prevent the U.S. from qualifying here and now. kick off target. Now the U.S. can just play from the back here. Really just go back and forth between defenders and keeper just like this if they so choose to. Panama pressuring all they can, but it's going to be too little too late. Difference being the first tiebreaker. U.S. and Panama would both be on 4 points here. The U.S. would have a superior goal differential. So regardless of what happens in the next game between Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago, the U.S. know at least they're better than Panama on goal differential. They know they're at least better than Trinidad and Tobago because they are up by 4 points. Do the math, they're clinched. A matter of first or second. So the U.S. would probably be rooting against the Bahamas in this next game just to have a more favorable semifinal matchup against Guatemala over El Salvador. The most likely outcome would probably be the U.S. and El Salvador in the semis. It's significant. You might say, well, you have to go through El Salvador at some point. What difference does it make if it's in semifinal or the final? Well, the difference is a trip to the World Cup. Semifinal is almost treated as a final in that regard because you win your semifinal, you clinch a spot in the World Cup. The U.S. will be rooting, no doubt, for Trinidad and Tobago in the match that's coming up. Give them an easier path in the semifinal, even though they still might meet El Salvador when all is said and done in the final for the trophy. We wouldn't have to meet the mighty El Salvador with a trip to the World Cup on the line. McKenzie, see if he can tack one more on. McKenzie doesn't, and the U.S. can just let this run out. And that'll do it. The United States are through the semifinal. They don't know yet whether it's as the group winners or group runners-up here in Group B, but a 5-1 win over Panama puts the United States through to the semifinal here in the 2025 Concacaf Beach Soccer Championship.
That will be the Bahamas versus Trinidad and Tobago. And a word from our sponsors, Aramco. They are the official energy partner of the Concacaf 2025 Beach Soccer Championship. And Scotiabank is the official bank and the proud sponsor of the tournament.
I'll look back at the full-time highlights from the 5-1 victory for the U.S. over Panama. Coming in, Panama could have eliminated the U.S. with a win or by just simply sending it to a shootout. But this mistake early on from Londoño put Panama in a tough spot. He gave it away. And then it was Carvalho, the first to it. Hustle and awareness were themes of the first period. That's how the U.S. would score their second goal as well. Right here, Akol won the free kick from distance. Save made, but again, hustle, awareness. Nobody in a red jersey gets to that ball. It is Carvalho who gets there unperturbed, and he makes it 2-0 to the United States. They carried that lead into the second period. And then in that second period, they would face some resistance from Panama. This opportunity went off the crossbar as Carvalho was looking for his hat trick. And then here, a free kick goes wide for Panama. And eventually, they would cut back into the deficit, make it 2-1. McKenzie, he swings and misses right there on the shot. with the defenders closing down and hopped up off the sand awkwardly on him. But then look at this magnificent finish to recover. Bops it up to himself, overhead kick, perfect form, upper 90, 2-1. And it was a short-lived one-goal margin. The U.S. came right back down. Silveira found Navas at the back post, and he turns it in, restoring the 2-goal advantage for the U.S., making it 3-1. And then from there, they would pile on 2 more. Another issue at the back for Londoño. Awkwardly gave it along to Garcia, put him in a bad position. And then Londoño was out of his net, chipped easily. And then this one, again, Navas far down. It hit the sand behind the goal line. Right there, you can see it before it bounced back. It made it 5-1, and that's how it would finish. United States 5, Panama 1. So we know the United States is going through to the semifinal. All that's left to be determined who is joining them out of Group B. We'll find out in an hour's time when the hosts, the Bahamas, take on Trinidad and Tobago in the final match of Group B play here in the 2025 Concacaf Beach Soccer Championship. And there you see it. The United States 5 goals better than Panama. Remember, it's 1 point for a shootout win, 2 points for an extra time win, 3 points for a regulation win. Because the Bahamas have a superior goal differential now to Panama, any method of victory will put the Bahamas through. If they win in regulation or if they win in extra time, they would supplant the U.S. as well. The U.S. is going through regardless, just a matter of whether it's first or second, and we'll find that out momentarily with the Bahamas taking on Trinidad and Tobago. More to come. Stick with us.